type colour. So you've got the 5x optical zoom, as it says on there, full 1080 HD, easy upload for YouTube, and the USB. And overall the build quality is quite good. There's a little vent type thing here, some little holes. Hopefully that's for the speaker and not for the microphone. And then there's a little one up there as well, which is probably for the mic. Otherwise, if that's the microphone, you'd probably be rubbing your hand across it. I don't know how well that'll show up on camera. Yeah, so overall it's quite good. I'm going to do a size comparison for it now, compared to my original pocket camcorder, which is a Samsung U10. And to do that, I'm just going to do some video with my digital camera, so the picture quality is probably going to change, and I will switch over to that now. Right, so here it is side to side with my original pocket camcorder, the Samsung U10. They're pretty much the same size this way. The height and width of them is quite equal. Sony is a lot thicker, but obviously it needs to be, because compared to this with the screen on the back and all the stuff there, this has the main buttons on the rear there and a pop-out screen, so you can actually see yourself if you're filming, if that's what you prefer to do, where compared to this you can't obviously see where the image is actually pointing. Lens size, the lens on the U10 is the tiny little bit on the centre there. It's a bit misleading, this camera, on lens size. I pre-ordered this and I assumed that there wasn't very much information when this camera came out, and I pre-ordered it assuming that that whole black area there was the lens, and it obviously turned out not to be. This is pretty much similar to the size of lens you would get on a phone these days. So optic qualities, the Sony bloggie has to win, really. The photos you can take on it, the Sony bloggie is just a 5 megapixel compared to the Samsung U10, which is a 10 megapixel camera. But because of the size of the 10 megapixel images, it takes a long time for the inner processor in that one to actually process the images, and you end up with very blurry, not very good pictures. The pictures on this camera are only really very good once you take down take the settings down to roughly about 5 megapixels, which would put it pretty similar to that, although obviously because of the size of the lens of this one, the pictures will be much nicer. So as a size comparison, there we go. I paid $150 for the Sony bloggie, and I think when the Samsung U10 came out I paid about what was it, about $140, but the recommended price on the bloggie is more like £180 at the moment, but I bought it on sale. Overall, I really like it. So one of the features that's quite interesting about the Sony bloggies is that, as well as being able to use Sony's standard memory stick Pro Duos, it can also use SD cards. I had both of these already. I didn't go out specifically to buy them, but it's quite quite good. I'm sure that the main reason was that a lot of people get put off of buying Sony products because you have to use the memory sticks, and they are quite a lot more expensive than a standard SD card. One thing that I'm not very sure about is whether a Memory Stick Pro Duo Mark II, which is what this card is any faster or better than a Class 6 SDHC card. I already had these two cards. Originally I bought the Memory Stick Pro Duo for a Sony Ericsson phone I had, which ended up breaking before I even got the chance to put it in it, and the SD card I already had as a spare for my original camera. The Sony Bloggie actually does have a tiny amount of memory in it. I don't know if this is focusing, but set at 5 megapixels. You have enough memory to take 8 photos, and with the video set at 720 at 30p, you have enough memory to record 41 seconds of video. So really the internal memory on this camera is quite useless, but I suppose in the case of emergencies you would at least be able to get a couple of shots off or record a tiny little amount of video. It's very good though, I think, that you can actually have the choice between what you put in there. It makes the Sony Bloggies, and I assume all future cameras will have this feature as well, it makes them more easily accessible to most people, because a lot of the time I don't think people are very interested in spending sort of 30 something pounds on a Pro Duo when you can get something probably double the capacity with a SDHC card. But there we go. It's just another interesting thing that the Bloggie has to it, and I think now I just have to make a decision, stick one of these cards in and get on with some test video. I don't know when I would be sticking up any test video. If anyone has any preferences on if they'd like to see something on this camera, there are obviously a lot of videos on YouTube already for this. It seems to be a very popular camera on YouTube at the moment, and yeah. So thank you for watching.